A reminder, the news does not end here. Nope, here's what's coming up at 7 p.m. streaming on WCNC+. Keeping teachers in the classroom. It continues to be a problem for CMS.
Could you imagine going 10 years without a state raise?
What the district is doing to bring in new teachers and keep the ones they have.
Rising gas prices aren't just hitting your wallet at the pump. Coming up, how local businesses are coping and what it means for customers.
And today is the first day of spring, but here are meteorologists say we've been in spring for weeks.
And we're going to tell you why. Also, we have more spring-like temperatures on the way, even some of the hottest temperatures we've ever had in March history.
And just one day in, Carolina teams are front and center of March Madness.
How's your bracket doing? That's the question. Those stories and much more live, local, and breaking news coming up at 7 a.m. on WCNC+.
If you take I-85, this is what it looks like right now out there near Cox. This is in Gaston County, where you can see lots of people are up and starting their day. Few accidents to report. This one here still right between the Mecklenburg and Gaston County line near it. This is I-85 northbound approaching Belmont. Do have some delays building there. Chris?
Y'all, this is how we're starting our day. Get ready for greatness, everybody. Just some upper level clouds to begin the day, but going forward, it is going to be super warm. 70s today, lower 70s tomorrow, and then near 90 on Sunday. Feeling like summer. A little bit of cool down next week, but enjoy it, y'all. This is a great start to spring.
Enjoy that weekend. You deserve it.
That's right. Join us streaming live on WCNC Plus starting at 7 a.m. Have a great Friday.
Streaming live at 7 a.m. here on a Friday. I'm Ben Thompson.
And I'm Lisa Washington. We start things off this half hour with that WCNC weather impact forecast. And guess what? We changed from winter to spring today.
Oh, and look at how we are starting our day. This is beautiful. So officially, we are beginning our spring vernal equinox at 10:46 a.m. So that means we have under 4 hours left of winter. The countdown is almost over, and it's beautiful, y'all. But the thing is, yesterday was March. Today feels like April. Tomorrow feels like May. And yep, June like by Sunday. So even though it's spring, things are going bananas. I called a shorts alert today. It depends on your threshold. For me, I'm from New England, so I still have a little bit of northern blood, so I'm going to be rocking it. But mainly I'm doing this today because I'm not going to be working here tomorrow. So shorts alert really, I would say now through Monday, because Monday we still have highs in the lower 80s. Gorgeous shot in the background there at Charlotte Motor Speedway. 76 is my high. That's a 10-degree upgrade from yesterday, so almost bumping things up by a whole month. One thing I am seeing changing is that we have increasing clouds throughout the afternoon today. That'll start off cloudy tomorrow, and then also it'll be breezier than the last couple of days. I think we can have an occasional gust getting up to about 20 miles per hour. Our lows are, I think, one of the crazier stories here. Yeah, the temperatures trying to challenge a record on Sunday is sensational, but where lows go realistically, in the lower 40s is where we should be. We're starting off in the 50s and the 60s, where we had a day that couldn't even get to 50 degrees for a high. So it shows how quickly we flipped that script, and even the cool down is just back to the normal that we have today. So nothing too drastic, not looking at another big drop to that freezing point, just letting you know, the closer and closer we get to mid-April, the more likely the freezing temperatures are taking a break until the fall. All right, tomorrow we start off a little bit cloudier. Temperatures going to reach the lower 80s. Saturday, we did a little voting yesterday as far as multiple choice, your pick of the week. The clouds, I think, are going to be a bummer at times for your Saturday, but then once you get to Sunday, we have nothing to worry about. There's the slightest outside chance we have a drifting shower on Saturday. I don't think it impacts Charlotte, and that's what this specifically is for. Then we have a spotty chance on Monday, I would say late day heading into the evening, and then isolated on Wednesday. Here's the one chance for rain I have on your Saturday watch. I think there could be a little cell here that starts to pop up right around Spartanburg, so to the southwestern side of the area, and that is it. So that's mainly late afternoon heading into the early evening. Just showing you what I'm seeing. That's actually been on there for the last couple of days, so it's a better shot at that. But most of us staying dry, and even if that happens, not really a big deal. 88 degrees, near a record. One of the hottest temperatures we've ever had in March is going to hit on Sunday. Perfect for being outside, great for some water play, washing the car. Lower 60s on Tuesday, and then a quick rebound back to the 70s. So enjoy it, y'all. Spring is officially about to start in less than 4 hours, and boys are feeling like it. I'm Majestic. How do we begin WCNC Plus traffic?
Well, the first thing I'm noticing is how pretty the sky is this morning. So if you're heading out for your morning commute, at least you have beautiful colors in the sky and temperatures aren't so chilly. This is I-85 right now out near Maine. This is out in Gaston County. You can see cars are flowing just fine. What a nice way to start our Friday morning. Now, as we switch it over to my map, we still do have a few things to mention. Nothing that's significantly slowing a ton of people down. This here, though, it's still active. I-85 northbound as you're approaching Belmont between exits really 21 and 26. There is a little bit of a delay, but not seeing any red, not seeing any orange. Likely they were able to get the car off over to the shoulder, and people are just driving a little slower right around it. Another thing that we're following is I-45. This is the outer loop off ramp to I-85. This is exit 10. It's not an accident. It's just slow moving conditions as a lot of people are all taking the same route. Similar, just slow traffic coming in from I-85 southbound to I-77. We'll have another check on those roads, letting you know if we do have any more accidents to report coming up soon.
Now to a breaking news update in Charlotte. Medic confirming the overnight police presence at a gas station in University area was a shooting. This is some video from that scene. It's right next to the Walmart on North Tryon Street near 485. We're told one person is fighting for their life after that shooting. No other details have been released. When we get more information, of course, we'll be sure to pass it along to you.
This morning, lanes I-85 back open for your commute. Just before midnight, a crash caused major backups near North Graham Street. You can see at one point in this video, only one lane was open. Cars creeping by. No word on what caused the crash. This morning, Belmont police still investigating an armed robbery that led to a huge backup on I-85 near Belmont earlier in the day. Belmont police say Reginald Cannon robbed somebody at gunpoint in the Lowe's parking lot. Officers later spotted him, leading to a chase that ended right here, as you see here, on I-85 into Mecklenburg County. And here's how it all ended. The suspect crashed into a garbage truck near the 45 interchange, forcing big backups. He faces several charges this morning.
7:05 now. 2 years after their loved one was killed, a Charlotte family is seeing a step toward justice. 2 men charged in connection to the death of 36-year-old Cordero Houston have pleaded guilty. Investigators say in 2024, Quavon Strother and Maceo Caldwell broke into Houston's home, robbing and killing him. His family says with this chapter closed, they can focus on finding strength after loss.
No, Gene, it's not justice, but it's the best we can get with this system. With the evidence that we had, some evidence, some strong, some weak cases. But it is better than potentially seeing them walk. And that would have just tore us up.
Both men were sentenced to up to 13.5 years in prison, with credit served for almost 2 years. New developments in a 2025 Northeast Charlotte homicide. Charges have been dropped against 33-year-old Anthony Alexander in connection to the deadly shooting at the First and Gold Sports Bar by University City Boulevard. 22-year-old Jordan Mason was shot and killed. Documents obtained by WCNC Charlotte show murder charges against Alexander were dropped due to a lack of evidence.
Governor Josh Stein calling for more resources for law enforcement across the state. He's warning that staffing shortages could stretch those agencies thin. He also highlighted the need for a full state budget, which lawmakers have failed to pass for 2 years, despite the fact Republicans control both chambers of the General Assembly. The governor says new funding problems will only grow.
A growing, thriving state like North Carolina cannot just limp along. We face certain critical needs that require immediate attention. That's why I have proposed, and the General Assembly must pass, a $1.4 billion critical needs budget.
Those funds would include more than $200 million going to urgent needs for public safety.
Keeping teachers in the classroom continues to be a problem for Charlotte-Mecklenburg schools. This month, the State Department of Public Instruction released a retention report showing some improvement across the state. As
WCNC Charlotte's Siobhan Riley reports, educators say a lot more work is needed in the long term.
Dr. Crystal Hill says the district is taking extra steps to retain and recruit more teachers, but teacher pay remains a challenge.
Could you imagine going 10 years without a state raise?
CMS Superintendent Dr. Crystal Hill says one of the biggest barriers when it comes to retaining experienced teachers is the state teacher pay schedule.
From year 15 all the way to year 25, teachers get literally no raise. So unfortunately, we see a lot of teachers start to drop off at that point.
According to a report released this month from the North Carolina Department of Public Instruction, about 15% of teachers left CMS last year. Some of the reasons include changing careers, relocating to another state, and retirement.
We don't want our teachers to leave.
Susan Bennett, who's on the Parent Advisory Council, advocates for new and experienced teachers to get the pay they deserve.
We value our teachers a lot. We just got to roll up our sleeves. That's what makes me think like, oh man, okay, what else, what can we do to support the teachers?
Dr. Hill says the district's expanding its Teacher Leader Pathway program for teachers demonstrating real impact in the classroom.
They may take on more responsibility like coaching other teachers. In exchange for that, we're able to give them higher pay.
This is the first year the program expanded to all 185 schools, something parents say could make a difference. In Charlotte, Siobhan Riley, WCNC Charlotte.
CMS leaders also highlighted some of the difficulties the district faces as North Carolina operates without a full state budget. The leaders say when they made their budget last year, they made the assumption there would be a 3% increase in state funding. With that process dragging out, it creates uncertainty.
So when that doesn't happen, we are required legislatively to pass a budget at a certain time. The county's required to legislatively pass a budget. So then we have this funding that's sitting here that's kind of in limbo. And so that has been very difficult as we plan for next school year. And it also puts us in a really bad position in terms of trying to guess or assume how much the next budget may be.
Right now, CMS is still in the planning phase of its budget for next year. It will continue to gather feedback before drafting a formal budget proposal. We should also mention that today is a teacher workday for CMS, so students will not be at school.
This fall, hundreds of upperclassmen at Winthrop will have to find their own housing. School leaders sent out an email back in January stating 2 residence halls were torn down after concerns they were outdated and potentially not safe. That decision removed hundreds of beds for students, and now next semester on-campus housing will be prioritized for freshmen and sophomores.
I was kind of shocked about it because we are exchange students.
Some of my non-athlete friends I learned were very upset about it and stressed knowing that they weren't going to be guaranteed housing.
The university says plans already in motion to build a brand new residence hall right where the old ones once stood. Construction will begin later this year, doors opening as early as 2027.
A new tool could save you a trip to the DMV. The North Carolina DMV just launched a new online tool that shows real-time wait times. You can see if a location is accepting walk-ins, facing long wait times, or already at capacity. State leaders say the goal is to help you pick the best time and location and avoid long lines.
Both the partial government shutdown and the war in Iran having impacts all over the nation. We'll tell you what to look out for. .13 right now on WCNC Plus. Air travelers facing longer lines at security checkpoints as the Transportation Security Administration workers go without full pay during a partial government shutdown. As Reed Binion reports, there's no sign the impasse over funding will break soon on Capitol Hill.
Airports across the nation, massive delays getting through security are worsening amid the ongoing partial government shutdown, keeping TSA employees from getting paid. They just missed their first full paycheck since funding for the Department of Homeland Security lapsed in mid-February. As those workers feel the strain, staff call-out rates are increasing, and so are security wait times. At Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International Airport, upwards of a third of the TSA staff didn't show up on Wednesday. On Thursday morning, security wait times in Atlanta stretched up to 90 minutes long. At George Bush Intercontinental Airport in Houston, wait times peaked at 3 hours. For TSA officers, the strain of working without pay is coming to a head.
There's times where I'm like, at night, it's like, what am I going to do?
Some agents turning to food banks, airports doing what they can to help.
We're just looking to reach out to the community.
Holding food drives in Syracuse, New York.
It takes a village. Our TSA employees, without food, it's tough to feed your family.
Other airports like Columbus, Ohio, providing travelers with a way to donate grocery or gas gift cards.
They're keeping us safe. They're doing a hard job.
I'm Reed Binion reporting.
Tensions in the Middle East are sending shockwaves through global oil markets, and Americans are starting to feel the effects. The rising cost of oil isn't just hitting gas prices, it's driving up the cost of everyday goods and services across the economy. Shoppers are noticing higher prices at grocery stores, while commuters are paying more at the pump.
Because you have to make a product and then you have to transport that product to a location where consumers can buy the product. And then the mere transportation of that product to where consumers can purchase it is going to be more costly.
Experts say the higher cost of oil drives up the price of goods across the economy, whether you are filling up your tank or buying produce. With uncertainty over just how long the war will last, families can expect prices to remain volatile in the weeks ahead. So not only are goods and the price of oil up, the cost of buying a home in America is rising. Less than a month ago, rates had fallen to below 6% for the first time in more than 3 years. This week, the average 30-year fixed mortgage rate jumped to 6.22%. That surge is largely a consequence of inflation fears rippling through markets.
Homeless advocates raising new concerns about a new agreement between the Departments of Veterans Affairs and the Department of Justice. The deal would let the VA start conservatorship or guardianship proceedings for certain veterans who can't make care decisions and have no family. Advocates worry it could be used to discharge homeless veterans before housing or services are available. They point to past efforts that force treatment or penalize people without providing proper support. Now a note about us here at WCNC Charlotte. Nexstar Media Group has completed its $6.2 billion acquisition of our parent company, Tegna.
The Federal Communications Commission and Department of Justice signed off on the acquisition Thursday. In a news release, FCC Chairman Brendan Carr alleges that this deal empowers stations to better serve their communities in the future, saying for too long the FCC stood by while newspapers closed by the dozens in small communities all across the country. Those trusted sources of local news and information shuttered while the FCC dithered. If you care about local news, you should care about the future of local broadcast TV stations. The deal was first announced in August of last year. As part of the agreement, Nexstar must sell 6 television stations to meet regulatory requirements. WCNC Charlotte is not one of them.
Live pictures right now, I-85, near mile marker 22. Slow going there. Majestic's going to have more of it coming up after the break.
The time is now 7:20. It is the first day of spring. It starts at 10:46 this morning, and spring is in the air in the nation's capital. Just take a look. The city's famous cherry blossoms are officially in bloom. Today is the start of the Cherry Blossom Festival, which brings more than 1 million people to Washington, D.C. Now, while winter has refused to go away, warm temperatures are in the forecast this weekend, with peak bloom predicted to happen between March 29th and April 5th. Also a note, you are not supposed to pick the cherry blossoms. When Miss Wafer took our 6th grade class to Washington, D.C. and one Lisa Washington picked the cherry blossoms, not supposed to do that.
Oh, man. Did you keep the petals at least?
I did. They were so pretty. You know I love flowers.
You rebel.
Well, I didn't know that you weren't supposed to pick them then. It was 6th grade me, not, older me.
Now, and I can remember as a 6th grader, I would pick anything that you can, so I support it. Well, I'm letting you know that the cherry blossoms are about to blossom here a little bit earlier because, of course, we're a little bit warmer. The first one we typically see, and this usually happens as early as February, that's the forsythia, those yellow bushes, and the Bradford pears, the ones that stink. Now, we're almost at the point of we're done with the stink, but now we're starting to see a lot more of those eastern red buds. So if you see these kind of pinkish flowers, a lot more of these, but that flowering cherry, I haven't seen any of these per se, but it's usually about this time, about this week, that we're really starting to see those start to flourish. So some of them might be even this weekend with the warmth that you're going to see them pop out. The buds, I think, are just pretty much ready to go. All right, now here is an overwhelming list over to the right. These are pretty much everything that is blooming in March, and many of these have already bloomed. I did see some violets in bloom, and I always mess this up. Hyacinths. I was actually at a big box store. I'm not going to name drop it, but anyways, I did see those and they were looking absolutely beautiful. Carolina jessamine is another one that goes along, and the yellow jessamine is the South Carolina state flower. So yeah, a lot of these beautiful flowers are now starting to surge, are starting to flourish now over the next week or so, and pretty much already have. So that's the good news. As far as the planting window, just letting you know, it's way too early. However, if you look at our extended forecast, it's going to be a-okay, because really what we're looking out for are freezing temperatures. We do not have any freezing temperatures over the next 10 days, but I have been surprised before where I made the mistake when I first came here to the Carolinas. It was like, Chris, is the freeze done? And I was just like, yeah, I think so. I think we're good. No, I think we dropped down in the 20s in the middle of April. So just saying, we always have that chance. I'm just letting you know, each day we go forward, each day, especially as we march through March into April, we're going to have less and less likelihood of having that freeze. Now, as far as our highs are concerned, we can't get it right. Now, March is about ups and downs, don't get me wrong, but the swings have been ridiculous. If you look over the next 10 days, we hit 88 degrees, which is more indicative of the first day of summer on Sunday, and then we're back to the 50s, which is a little bit more February-like, come March 28th. So that's next Saturday. So you can see that the trend is all over the place, overall trending down. So take advantage of the warmest part of the forecast, which is starting tomorrow, Sunday, and Monday. Take care. Let's get over to Majestic for our morning commute.
It's a beautiful start to the day. 7:23 right now. Not too cold outside, but it's just nice. If you're heading out, of course, traffic is going to start to get a little jam-packed, but this is I-77 right now out near LaSalle. Traffic is actually flowing just fine, and we don't have a ton of accidents. We have a couple of congested spots, but this is actually a crash that just was reported about 10 minutes ago. LaSalle Street west of I-77. This is a crash, but I do still see a lot of green with it, so really not seeing any traffic impacts with it. Off to the west, this is I-85 northbound approaching Belmont. It is bringing some backups and delays up to Cox Road, so that's over towards exit 21. Not seeing stop and go traffic there on I-85, but just a little slower than it typically would be moving if there wasn't a car accident. I-77 coming in from York County, Fort Mill. Good morning to you. Actually looks pretty good right now. We'll have another look at traffic all coming up soon.
Majestic thing, 7:24 now. Time for us to take a quick break, but make sure that you keep it right here, streaming live on WCNC Plus. Coming up at 7:30, we're going to be talking about March Madness and the Carolina teams.
We got sunshine. Check it out. It's gorgeous right over here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Starting off right around 40 degrees to the upper 30s, depending where you are. We already shot up 44 degrees right here around Charlotte. Beautiful golden orange colors across the horizon. As we head into the afternoon, that sun rising up is going to allow for lots of sunshine. Mid-70s, about 10 degrees warmer than yesterday. Just dealing with more clouds to end the day. Now let's talk about this epic weekend. We start off tomorrow morning at 56 degrees. That's warmer than what we had 2 days earlier this week. We're 83 degrees, more clouds, especially to start off the day for tomorrow. And then Sunday, 88 degrees. That's challenging a record and one of the hottest temperatures we've ever had in March here in the Charlotte area. Cooler by Tuesday, but then a quick warm up. All in all, a fantastic 7-day forecast. We're about to start spring. Majestic?
Start to the day, and boy, we have a beautiful weekend weather forecast to look forward to as well. This is I-77 this morning. If you're heading out near Westinghouse, you can see traffic is definitely picking up, but overall today has been pretty quiet. No complaints though. One thing to mention before we go is this right here. It's an active crash right there on LaSalle Street west of I-77. To the north, just seeing slow ramp traffic from I-85 to I-77. We'll see you over on WCNC Plus.
Thanks for streaming live on WCNC Plus at 7:30. I'm Lisa Washington.
And I'm Ben Thompson. WCNC Charlotte asking where's the money for local small businesses feeling the pinch at the gas pump. For them, the war overseas directly impacts their bottom line.
WCNC Charlotte's Destiny Richards is live this morning in South Charlotte to explain how landscapers are trying to keep their business and their customers afloat. Destiny.
That's right. A lot of us depend on gas to get to work, but for some local businesses, including landscaping companies, fuel is how they get their work done. And right now, these rising prices are hitting them hard. For landscapers, gas isn't optional, it's essential. From trucks to mowers to blowers, just about everything they use runs on fuel. And as prices climb, some now topping $5 a gallon, business owners say their costs are spiking fast. One local landscaper says when you factor in multiple trucks receiving fill-ups several times a week, they're spending thousands more just to keep running. Others say even driving between job sites is adding up on top of the fuel needed to power their equipment.
Our crew have to travel back and forth to go to each job, which increases the gas prices for them.
We're making less money. It's just extremely frustrating when you go to the pump every time, and it just becomes more and more expensive.
The good thing is these companies say they're not going to be passing those added costs on to customers. They do hope to stay afloat, but for right now, they're just hoping that these gas prices stabilize and level off sometime soon. Live in South Charlotte, I'm Destiny Richards, WCNC Charlotte.
Doesn't keep us posted. Well, this morning, Charlotte City Council exploring its next steps on those controversial I-77 toll lanes we told you about. The state DOT has agreed to pump the brakes on the project as they get more community feedback on the design options. You see some of them right there. Many neighbors pushing for, instead of what you see there, an underground tunnel option instead. We spoke to Councilmember Malcolm Graham, who says NC DOT is currently doing a study looking into that design, but it is a lot more expensive. We're talking about tens of billions of dollars. He noted that that cost couldn't come out of city funds.
I think that's really important. Obviously, cost is going to be a deciding factor in that, but I don't think there should be a local funding remedy for it. I think it should remain a state project with federal support, and so that we can use our local dollars for other local projects.
We also spoke to City Councilman Ed Driggs, who acknowledged the solutions presented so far have definite flaws, but also highlighted the consequences if the project is just canned.
That would be terrible, right? It's a $3.5 billion project, but the fact is right now you can't widen that road and move it somewhere else.
It's there.
So we're trying to do this in a modern, sensitive way and avoid any suggestion that there is an indifference towards the black community.
NC DOT isn't making any decisions until June. You can catch both of these full interviews on Flashpoint, 9 p.m. Monday, right here on WCNC Plus. We're just a day into the NCAA tournament, and it didn't take long for our Carolina teams to be front and center in the madness.
We're going to start with North Carolina. The Tar Heels squandering an 11-point lead in the last 5 minutes of regulation. The 6th-seeded Heels upset by the 11th-seed VCU in overtime.
Just because you miss a shot doesn't mean something's wrong. I mean, we had open looks, we had shots at the basket, we had executed plays, and we missed 8 free throws. Sometimes the ball doesn't go in.
Near catastrophe for Duke on that same floor in Greenville, but the Blue Devils rallied against Siena, taking the lead with just a few minutes left. Cam Boozer said they weren't ready to play. Coach John Shire, though, not worried.
It's not concerning from the standpoint that, unfortunately, this is the nature of the tournament. You know, it's the nature of the tournament. And, you know, look, I wish it could just be smooth sailing and you can face a team like Siena. They're incredibly ready to play. We made some mistakes early that they made us pay for it. But the toughness down the stretch, I just think that's what this tournament's all about.
And it was electric for the High Point Panthers last night. History made in Portland, Oregon, with their first NCAA tournament win. The Panthers came from behind and secured that win over Wisconsin with just 11 seconds remaining.
I mean, when Rob threw that up, I was just like, I gotta put this in the hoop and win this game. I wasn't really thinking whether it was a 2 or a 3. I was just trying to put it in and win this game. So.
Yeah, I mean, Chase, how he's finished the season and just his career, he passed Steph Curry today on all-time threes. That's the kind of player he is.
3 more Carolina teams in action today. Clemson faces Iowa in an 8-9 matchup in Tampa. 15-seed Furman faces Connecticut, trying to knock off the 2-seed in Philadelphia. And Queen's University will take on Purdue in its first ever trip to the Big Dance. Tip-off just after 7:30 tonight in St. Louis. Now here in Charlotte, Suffolk Punch in South Park is hosting a watch party for fans to cheer on the Royals as they try to pull off that upset. Hornets legend Dale Curry's jersey is officially retired and hangs in the rafters of the Spectrum Center. Curry's number 30 jersey was retired in Uptown last night during halftime of the Hornets' big win. His family, you see them, they're all in attendance. Dale Curry's jersey is the second retired by the team, joining his late teammate and friend Bobby Phills. All right, 7:36 now. Let's check back in with Chris.
A gorgeous start to the day, officially past the sunrise time. That means the sun is up. That means fun's up for today and for this weekend. Take advantage of it. If there's some things that you needed to do around the yard or you just want to enjoy your time outside, this is the window of opportunity. We have the 70s and the 80s over the next 4 days. It's going to be good. And yesterday, officially, you voted on WCNC Charlotte that today was your pick of the week. Now, of course, I gave you 3 options, and truly all of these days are great in their own way. If you like it hot, 88 degrees is actually going to go down in history. Saturday's kind of a little iffy. 83 is great, but the problem is we are going to have more clouds to start off the day. I do think it gets a little bit better, but really almost near perfection. Nice little split the difference there that it feels perfect for today. Now, our hottest highs in March history, so this is like any day during March, dating back to 1879, reaching its peak. The warmest we've ever been, 1907, 91 degrees. 1907 was a very hot end to March where we had 91, 90, 89, and then came in again at 89. We've already here in 2026 had 2 of the hottest highs in the month of March, and now we're going to add a 3rd. So this is showing about how active this month is. Already it's the 2nd hottest March up to this date in Charlotte history, and I think by the end of the weekend we're going to be back to that number 1 spot. Our Futurecast is also showing a slight chance for a little bit of rain this weekend. Watch. Don't blink. You're going to miss it. Don't worry about that little guy. Right in here. See how we have one little cell? This is 5 p.m. on Saturday. Pushing down towards the south, there's 6 o'clock, and then eventually it's going to be out of here by the early evening. So I'm just letting you know this could still change. I'm still going to keep Charlotte in general for the line. So really from Banner Oak down through Monroe, off towards the southwest, I'm literally talking about 1, maybe 2 isolated cells that could be a possibility, but most likely we're staying dry. So just keep in mind, that's a really teeny one. I don't really even have that here because I think it's more of an evening time frame. Spotty shower for your Monday and then isolated activity heading into your Wednesday. But all in all, not a lot is happening here in the short term. So our Jerry Hunt Supercenter 7-day forecast, we have a good one, by the way. Checkers games are fleeting. This is officially going to be the 6th and 5th last Checkers game. So if you wanted to head to one, I highly recommend it. Going to be some great evenings for it. As we mentioned, spring officially starts at 10:46, lower 80s, upper 80s. Already showed you where this is going to rank, most likely at least the 7th spot. 89 is the record for that day in climatology. And then we're back to 61 on Tuesday. The only question mark that I really have here is, what is that front? It's obviously a cold front. What is that going to do precipitation-wise? It keeps on getting less and less because sometimes drought can feed drought, but luckily this cool down is not as drastic. We don't revisit the freezing point, and we're back to the 70s just a couple days after that. So our dips are getting less and less going forward, but we still always have that chance. Drop down to freezing through the month of March and, of course, April. Let's get right over to Majestic. Any changes since the last time we talked?
Honestly, it's been pretty quiet as the Mecklenburg County schools are out of school today, and it's evident right here. You can see this is I-77, mile marker 8 near Remount. Not nearly as much traffic as we would typically see on a normal day, and that means less accidents. That's also good news. We have mainly all green around 485. 277 doesn't look too bad either. One thing I am watching right now is this crash here. It's on LaSalle Street. This is just west of I-77. Heading to the north, that icon there is not a wreck. It's just indicating that there are a lot of cars trying to get off of I-85 southbound onto I-77. That's kind of just our regular, normal morning issue. Another thing, this is an ongoing problem. It's an accident. It's on I-85 northbound approaching Belmont. We are seeing some delays, even pushing back towards McAdenville. Not seeing red, just minor delays for now. We'll have another check on how things are changing coming up here soon. Guys.
7:40 right now. As the war in Iran escalates, so are gas prices. Stick with us to hear what President Trump says about the jump at the pump.
7:43 now. President Trump asserted the war with Iran will be over soon, while the Pentagon is asking Congress for billions of dollars to continue funding it. And with mounting attacks on energy facilities across the Middle East, the Trump administration is under pressure to bring gas prices down. NBC's Alice Barr has the latest from Washington.
This morning, an oil refinery in Kuwait joining the growing list of energy sites targeted across the Middle East as Iran looks to ramp up the pain for the global economy, while Israel hammered a major Iranian gas field and President Trump threatened worse if Iran keeps attacking Gulf allies like Qatar, all with gas prices already up around 90 cents a gallon since the war began.
I thought that it would go up more than it did. But we're doing this excursion, and when it's completed, we're going to have a much safer world.
With questions mounting about how much longer the war will last, NBC News has learned the U.S. military is accelerating the deployment of thousands more Marines and sailors to the Middle East, according to two people familiar with the decision, who say at least 2,200 Marines are expected to deploy from San Diego in the coming days. President Trump again pressed on plans for boots on the ground.
I'm not putting troops anywhere. If I were, I certainly wouldn't tell you. But I'm not putting troops.
His administration is asking Congress for another $200 billion in wartime funding. House Speaker Mike Johnson backing the president's approach.
I think the mission is all but complete.
Asked why then the military needs billions more.
It's a dangerous time in the world, and we have to adequately fund defense.
Democratic leadership pointing to rising prices, not just gas, but jet fuel and mortgage rates.
Let's focus on bringing down housing costs, bringing down health care costs.
Promising another effort to rein in the president's war powers, a move Republicans have called dangerous and so far blocked. Leaders of the European Union met Thursday to address surging energy prices. Some showed a willingness to help ships pass through that embattled oil route, the Strait of Hormuz, but are calling for hostilities to die down first. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
According to AAA, the national gas price average right now sits at $3.91 per gallon. In North Carolina, it's $3.65, and in South Carolina, 5 cents less at $3.60.
The Commission of Fine Arts approving a design for a commemorative coin celebrating the United States' 250th birthday. The coin features President Donald Trump standing with his fists on his desk with liberty and the dates 1776 and 2026 above him. The back of the coin shows an eagle, and the commission says it could be as large as 3 inches in diameter. Officials also reviewing a proposed $1 Trump coin, which could raise legal questions because living former presidents usually don't appear on current currency. President Trump's nominee to head the Department of Homeland Security moving forward after a narrow vote in the Senate committee. Oklahoma Senator Markwayne Mullin getting by in an 8-7 vote. The committee's chairman, Kentucky Senator Rand Paul, a Republican, voted no after saying Mullin had anger issues at the hearing. One Democrat, Pennsylvania Senator John Fetterman, countered that and voted in favor of the nomination. The next step is the full Senate. He'll need 51 votes to become secretary.
Trivia time, NCAA. Of course, the madness has begun, but let's dial this back. Which state has the most teams in the NCAA tournament bracket? Do you think it's Texas, B, New York, C, California, or D, right here in North Carolina? Think about it. Educated guesses right after the break. All right, there's no way that you should know this. I spent way too much time trying to calculate this, but just your best guess, which state has the most teams in the NCAA tournament bracket? Do you think it's Texas, New York, California, or North Carolina?
I mean, I don't know, but in the words of Petey Pablo, I'm just going to go D, North Carolina.
Always nice when we can get a Petey Pablo reference in. I appreciate
I was
that.
waiting for it today.
Right?
You know, I wanted to, but.
All right, what about you, Ben? What are you thinking?
I'll go with California.
California? Well, California, North Carolina, and New York are all tied, but what has two more, the state of Texas.
Really?
Yeah, so I was actually surprised by this. So looking at it, there's a lot of smaller schools whose names are now escaping me that are actually in Texas. You forget Houston, one of the bigger ones in Texas, and adds up. So as a total of the 64, not the play-in, Texas has 6, California, New York, and North Carolina.
You know, I don't mind being wrong as long as Lisa's wrong too.
Yeah. And again, it was a 25% chance, but you guys are both losers.
I don't like being wrong. I don't. Let's move on. Do something
All right, let's
else.
get this out of here. What are we talking about? Well, I'm going to have some fun. Here's our lifestyle forecast. Shorts alert. Today, depends who you are. Some people have already pressed their shorts button. They're pretty much good to go for the next several months. But definitely this weekend, absolutely. And temperatures are going to be close to 90 degrees. Treat Sunday as if it were summertime. Playground forecast, we still aren't at the point that any metal slides, which I don't know why they still have metal slides that are astronomically hot, but a decent amount of sunshine, that's all you need. Temperatures getting in the lower to the mid 70s, just more clouds to end the day. If you're going out for the evening, it really is going to be pleasant. I don't know why these numbers changed on me, but temperatures should go the opposite direction, falling through the lower 70s to the 60s. Golf tomorrow, if you want to get this on, we start off with more clouds in the morning, so you don't have that sunshine bearing down on you in the morning. Starting off in the 50s though, so very comfortable overall, but then we pick up more sunshine as we work our way through the day. Not a lot of wind to blame a slice on. You will have an occasional gust up to 20 miles per hour. And my favorite, we officially brought back the BTPI, the Ben Thompson Pool Index. So I consulted with my pool expert, Ben Thompson, and we both came together, two minds, that said, yes, this is officially the first pool day. The other days, by the way, 87, happened in the middle of the week. You need kind of the weekend jive for it to be an official BTPI. So, all right. Here we go. 88 degrees, that's the top. That's also going to be 1 degree within a record. And 88 degrees would also be in the top 10 for the hottest days or single day in March history for Charlotte, dating back to 1879. Temperatures drop to the lower 60s on Tuesday. That's obviously a cold front. We try to come back to 80 degrees. Another front moves through. That's going to bring us down to the upper 50s. And then we work our way back to the lower 70s. So it's going to be a lot of ups and downs going forward. I showed you this earlier. Our lows are dropping periodically back to around 40 degrees, very similar to what we have this morning, which is very bearable, but I don't see, at least over the next 10 days, any freezing temperatures. Not saying that we won't see it, but general rule of thumb, if we can make it to the middle part of April, that is the best time to get the planting in. But even if you are eager and you want to plant those plants, just do it in pots for now. That means you can easily bring them in if we have any sort of situations. But as of right now, staying above freezing, fingers crossed, we stay in this status. All right, Majestic, take it away. What do we need to know this morning?
7:52, it is pretty outside for the morning commute, and it's not all that bad. This is I-77 right now, mile marker 8 out near Remount, where conditions are flowing just fine. A couple of new things. This is going to be a new crash. It just happened east of Uptown. It's right here on Parkwood Ave at Siegel Ave. Still saying mainly green around it, so minimal delays there. Heading just to the north, this is LaSalle Street. That's where the accident is, just west of I-77. Then once we're heading way west, this is out towards Kings Mountain, where one of our most recent accidents just happened. This is I-85 southbound. Right there at exit 10, we are seeing some impacts up to Edgewood Road. That's at exit 13. At least we don't have that stop and go traffic. But again, I-85 southbound heading towards Kings Mountain. A new accident just happened. Guys.
All right, check this out. Binge watching shows has become the go-to for a lot of us, letting people watch entire seasons all in one sitting. But some argue weekly episode drops keep the excitement alive and give you time to sort of marinate over each installment.
Something to look forward to, right? Well, streaming platforms are divided. Some releasing full seasons and others sticking to that weekly schedule. Fans say binge watching can be addictive, while weekly drops build anticipation and community. The debate continues as viewers weigh convenience against the thrill of waiting. So binge watching or weekly dropping, what do you guys prefer?
I've really gone back and forth on this.
I agree.
If you really love it, you don't want to have to wait another week.
No, you want a next episode.
But it also elongates the experience for you. So that's nice.
Correct.
So,
Correct. And here's what I hate though, like there's a show you and a friend are watching and then you don't have time to binge it and they've watched all 6 episodes and you're like, ugh. Yeah.
There's still something collectively cool to have everybody in the nation watching something at the same time.
Oh, yeah.
And then we all talk about it the next morning. Did you see that?
Right.
I mean,
True. I'm not a very good TV watcher, so the once a week thing does me good.
better.
And I'm watching one right now called Marshalls, and it comes out every Monday, and so it's kind of my Monday thing, and I like
that's
it.
good.
That's nice. I do get that.
Yeah, I like the occasional every once in a while. And if I get behind, then I can have a little mini binge watch.
Yeah.
Which happens all the time. Forget I'm watching.
It's good. It's kind of good to pace yourself.
It is good to
'Cause
pace yourself,
You do
yes.
binge. I mean,
Until 5 in the morning.
and then you go down a rabbit hole, and your entire weekend's gone, and you're like,
Yeah.
I devoted this to.
Sitting on the couch
That's
and watching
right.
a show.
Like, how many episodes did I watch? All right, we got to take a quick break, but make sure that you keep it right here on WCNC Plus.
All right, everyone, who's ready for greatness? Temperatures right now in the lower to the mid 40s, depending where you are. Lots of sunshine to begin the day. We're going to have some upper level clouds here and there, picking up more clouds hour by hour as we work our way through the afternoon. But still, look at our spike into the lower to the mid 70s. So if you're taking any evening strolls, it's going to be very comfortable. Yesterday, we had a high of 66. Well, today we have a high of 76. A big difference there. Our Jerry Hunt Supercenter 7-day forecast is amazing. We start off with more clouds for your Saturday, slight chance for a late day shower. Most of us stay dry though. And then Sunday, standing out from all the rest, right near the record on one of the hottest March days that we're going to have in Charlotte history. 88 degrees, enjoy it. It's one of the sunniest days as well. Back to around 60 degrees for another warm up after next Tuesday. All right, Majestic, what do people need to know this morning?
Well, we're getting close to the 8 o'clock hour. It is gorgeous outside. Temperatures are cool, but not cold. And we haven't had any really big car accidents, so that is always a really nice way to start the day. This right here is I-85 out near Sam Wilson, where conditions are flowing nearly perfectly. Again, if you're heading out the door, we do have a couple of things to mention. This here is just east of Uptown off of Parkwood Ave and Siegel Ave. That's where we do have an ongoing wreck with minor delays. And then LaSalle Street, just west of I-77 there. We'll see you on WCNC Plus.
streaming live right now at 8 a.m. right here on WCNC Plus. I'm Ben Thompson.
And I'm Lisa Washington. We start things off this half hour with a check of that WCNC weather impact forecast. And we're now just counting down the hours until the start of spring.
Sorry, I wasn't ready. I didn't know I was up next. I'm so sorry about that. Here we go. 76 degrees. You're looking at some sunshine off in the distance, but today is going to start off with plenty of sunshine coming our way, and I am so pumped for where we're going through this weekend because yesterday was to a T how it should feel in the middle of March. That's not a big problem, but we're about 10 degrees warmer, so it's feeling more like April today, and then we're almost progressing months day by day through this weekend. By the end of the afternoon, we do have more clouds here close to home, and that's going to lead to a cloudier start tomorrow. Also, today's a little bit windier. We're going to see an on and off gust up to about 20 miles per hour out of the west and the southwest. 56 degrees by tomorrow. The reason why that's so staggering is that we had a high of 49 degrees on Tuesday and 52 on Wednesday. So we've really come back that literally, I was mentioning how we're going to feel more like April, May into June. Well, we actually felt like January earlier in the week. So at one point this week, we had temperatures that were significant for more January, February, March, April, May, and June. So literally half the year. Talk about a temperature swing, right? And then we start to almost have some June-like lows. 66 degrees for a low on Monday. It means that most likely it's going to be a little bit cloudier. We will see a little bit of a dip back to the 40s and then a nice little comeback to the 50s. So a lot of ups and downs, but that's what you expect for this time of the year. And that's usually why March and April are more of the severe weather months because it's those fluctuations that really dictate this. Tomorrow, as I mentioned, we start off cloudier, very mild in the mid to the upper 50s, and we'll get it into the lower 80s for the afternoon. I'm letting you know that this is the one part of the forecast that could bust for us, that if the clouds hold on too long, temperatures are going to be close to about that 80 degree point. If we get that midday sunshine, we'll get it to around the 82, 83 degree point. It's not a big difference, just kind of letting you know that those clouds could be stubborn and not get out of here. Saturday also has a slightest outside chance of a little bit of rain to the southwest. I think most likely we're avoiding that. Spotty showers now the norm on Monday because we're way too dry. Not a lot of moisture with this. That's one thing that could change as well. And then Wednesday, an isolated shower. So here's literally all that I see for this weekend. Watch closely. Here it comes. Seeing a little pop-up shower, maybe an isolated storm. Keep that in mind. So that does move into our southwestern viewing area. That will be a possibility to end the afternoon and also begin the evening. This is just Futurecast data. This is still over 24 hours out, so there's a chance that could be a little bit further north. I just want people to be on guard that literally one storm or two could push through our area, but other than that, we are perfectly dry. Once you get to Sunday I think is the sunniest day that we have this weekend. Mostly sunny skies, but look at the record for March 22nd, 89 degrees. That's actually one of the hottest highs we've ever seen in the month of March, and boy, are we going to be matching up to that, where I think this Sunday is going to be one of the top 10 hottest highs we've had in a single day in March history for Charlotte. After that, lower 80s on Monday. Big cool down by about 20 degrees for both our highs and our lows Tuesday, but that's short-lived. We don't see a big dip to the freezing point. Back to the 70s already by next Thursday. So nice lot of ups and downs. Spring is officially taking over. And Majestic, the count continues. We are now less than 3 hours away.
Oh, I'm ready for it. It is already feeling like spring outside. It's gorgeous. And boy, I mean, you couldn't ask for another better forecast for the first day of spring. 70s and sunshine. Outside right now, also not looking too bad. This is I-85 out near University City, where conditions are looking good. It hasn't been too overly crazy, which is really, really nice. We do still have a few minor ongoing problems. This here is an accident just between Parkwood Ave and Siegel Ave. That's just east of Uptown. Heading to the south here, this is Providence Road northbound, right before West Windover Road. So South Windover Road, that's going to be our newest problem as some yellow is starting to develop, meaning that cars are slowing down just a little bit. Now, this has been ongoing for almost an hour and still not seeing any huge delays, so I would assume that they were able to get the car over to the side. This is on LaSalle Street, just west of I-77. And then finally, this is I-85 southbound at exit 10, so heading towards Kings Mountain, where there is an ongoing wreck and we do have some minor delays. Ben.
This morning, Belmont police still investigating an armed robbery that led to a huge backup on I-85 near Belmont early in the day yesterday. Belmont police say Reginald Cannon robbed somebody at a gunpoint in a Lowe's parking lot. Officers later spotted him, leading to a chase down I-85 to where you see right there it ended near the Mecklenburg County line. And here's a look at it all. The suspect crashed into a garbage truck near the 45 interchange, forcing big backups. He faces several charges right now.
2 years after their loved one was killed, a Charlotte family is seeing a step toward justice. 2 men charged in connection to the death of 36-year-old Cordero Houston have pleaded guilty. Investigators say in 2024, Quavon Strother and Maceo Caldwell broke into Houston's home, robbing and killing him. His family says with this chapter closed, they can focus on finding strength after loss.
No, Gene, it's not justice, but it's the best we can get with this system. With the evidence that we had, some evidence, some strong, some weak cases. But it is better than potentially seeing them walk. And that would have just tore us up.
Both men were sentenced to up to 13.5 years in prison with credit for almost 2 years served. New developments in a 2025 Northeast Charlotte homicide. Charges have been dropped against 33-year-old Anthony Alexander in connection to the deadly shooting at the First and Goal Sports Bar by University City Boulevard. 22-year-old Jordan Mason was shot and killed. Documents obtained by WCNC Charlotte show murder charges against Alexander were dropped due to a lack of evidence.
Governor Josh Stein calling for more resources for law enforcement across the state of North Carolina. He's warning that staffing shortages could stretch those agencies thin. He also highlighted the need for a full state budget, which lawmakers have failed to pass for 2 years now, despite the fact that Republicans control both chambers of the General Assembly. The governor says new funding problems will only continue.
A growing, thriving state like North Carolina cannot just limp along. We face certain critical needs that require immediate attention. That's why I have proposed, and the General Assembly must pass, a $1.4 billion critical needs budget.
Those funds would also include more than $200 million going to urgent needs for things like public safety.
Keeping teachers in the classroom continues to be a problem for Charlotte-Mecklenburg schools. This month, the State Department of Public Instruction released a retention report showing some improvement across the state.
As WCNC Charlotte's Siobhan Riley reports, educators say a lot more work needs to be done in the long term.
Dr. Crystal Hill says the district is taking extra steps to retain and recruit more teachers, but teacher pay remains a challenge.
Could you imagine going 10 years without a state raise?
CMS Superintendent Dr. Crystal Hill says one of the biggest barriers when it comes to retaining experienced teachers is the state teacher pay schedule.
From year 15 all the way to year 25, teachers get literally no raise. So unfortunately, we see a lot of teachers start to drop off at that point.
According to a report released this month from the North Carolina Department of Public Instruction, about 15% of teachers left CMS last year. Some of the reasons include changing careers, relocating to another state, and retirement.
We don't want our teachers to leave.
Susan Bennett, who's on the Parent Advisory Council, advocates for new and experienced teachers to get the pay they deserve.
We value our teachers a lot. We just got to roll up our sleeves. That's what makes me think like, oh man, okay, what else, what can we do to support the teachers?
Dr. Hill says the district's expanding its Teacher Leader Pathway program for teachers demonstrating real impact in the classroom.
They may take on more responsibility like coaching other teachers. In exchange for that, we're able to give them higher pay.
This is the first year the program expanded to all 185 schools, something parents say could make a difference. In Charlotte, Siobhan Riley, WCNC Charlotte.
CMS leaders also highlighted some of the difficulties the district faces as North Carolina operates without a full state budget. District leaders say when they made their budget last year, they made the assumption there would be a 3% increase in state funding. Now, with that process dragging out, it creates uncertainty.
When that doesn't happen, we are required legislatively to pass a budget at a certain time. The county's required to legislatively pass a budget. So then we have this funding that's sitting here that's kind of in limbo. And so that has been very difficult as we plan for next school year. And it also puts us in a really bad position in terms of trying to guess or assume how much the next budget may be.
Right now, CMS is still in the planning phase of its budget for next year. The district will continue to get public feedback before drafting a formal budget proposal. We should also mention today is a work day for CMS, so students are not in school. A new tool could save you a trip to the DMV. The North Carolina DMV just launched a new online tool that shows real-time wait times. You can see if a location is accepting walk-ins, facing long wait times, or already at capacity. State leaders say the goal is to help you pick the best time and location and avoid long lines.
8:10 right now. Before we head to break, here's an exclusive shopping deal for our viewers.
Hey everybody, here at ShopTVDeals.com, we love to bring you products that we've tested and that we love. And boy, what an amazing deal we have for you today. Let me introduce you to the Mirage Gala Series 3-piece luggage set. Normally, this would cost you about $450. Today, though, you're getting a deal for $149.99. That's 67% off. That's a huge deal. Let me tell you why it's a good deal. Check out the luggage itself. First, hard shell cover, extremely durable. On top of that, very, very lightweight. Then you have these great hooks on the side, like you're leaving the airport, you need a place for your umbrella or your bag or what have you. Great here. You have a TSA lock back here, strong handles, an adjustable handle here in the back with 3 different heights. But here's the real winning feature. Check out these wheels, 4 360-degree wheels. You practically will glide through the airport. It's so mobile, so easy to use. Then here on the inside, check it out. You have these cross straps right here on this side, keeping things neat and organized. And then this zipper component on this side doing the same thing. Keep everything nice, tight, and organized. Plus this big pocket giving you even more capacity. And again, can't beat the deal. 67% off. All of this for $149.99. Basically, 3 bags for the price of 1. Check out the QR code there or go to ShopTVDeals.com.
All right, folks, listen up. Check your medicine cabinet this morning. Strides Pharma is recalling nearly 90,000 bottles of children's ibuprofen. The FDA says there are reports of gel-like mass and black particles in the product. Its impacted product has best by date of January 31st, 2027. If you got it, stop using it. It's a medication that has just exploded in popularity. GLP-1 drugs can help people with obesity lose a lot of weight, but researchers say many patients go off the medicine within a year.
A new study suggests those who are no longer taking the drug but did one of a handful of things were able to keep that weight off. Mandy Gaither talks to the lead researcher about the findings.
They've become an important weapon in the battle against obesity. About 1 in 8 U.S. adults reported taking GLP-1 drugs, but experts say many stopped taking it within a year.
Discontinuation is a prevalent problem.
Dr. Hamlet Gasoyan with Cleveland Clinic says there are several reasons why, including cost or insurance-related problems and side effects. In this study, Gasoyan led research into whether those who stop GLP-1 drugs can maintain their weight loss.
We hypothesized that they wouldn't just give up on their obesity treatment altogether, but they might pursue alternative therapies. And that's what our study shows.
Gasoyan says 45% of patients studied who stopped GLP-1 drugs for obesity kept their weight off after a year.
However, there was a significant variation, individual level variation across patients, which is expected because, again, some patients did nothing else after discontinuation.
Gasoyan says those who kept the weight off did one of a handful of things: continued lifestyle changes, restarted the GLP-1 medication, pursued bariatric surgery, or moved on to cheaper older generation medications for obesity. He says it's important to talk to your doctor and have a plan.
There are alternative options. After they have to stop or they need to stop their original medication. And luckily, those options are only growing.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
And the doctor who you just heard there says that 56% of patients studied who stopped taking GLP-1 drugs for type 2 diabetes control, not for obesity, maintained their weight loss after a year. He says the higher percentage is likely because of biology, but also because there is better insurance coverage for the medications for diabetic patients. Meanwhile, a new higher dose version of the weight loss drug Wegovy has been approved in the United States. The updated shot is about 3 times stronger than the previous version and could help patients lose more weight. In studies, people lost about 19% of their body weight on the higher dose compared to about 16% on the standard dose. Experts say the stronger option could help those who didn't see results before, but it may also come with some side effects like nausea and stomach issues. The new version is expected to be available in pharmacies starting next month.
Eli Lilly's next generation obesity drug has cleared its first late-stage trial in type 2 diabetes patients. The drug helped lower blood sugar and also led to significant weight loss, with the highest dose showing an average of 16.8% drop in body weight. Side effects mostly gastrointestinal. Lilly still needs FDA approval, but the results suggest the drug could become a major new option for diabetes and weight management.
Approaching 8:18, now a live look this morning at I-77 near Arrowwood. You can see traffic there moving along without any problems. Majestic has the latest on your traffic impact. Next.
All right, welcome to it, everyone. We'll kiss the last hours of winter goodbye. Officially, it's the vernal equinox. That's when the Earth's axis is going to be completely at 0 degrees. It actually translates, by the way, equinox to equal night. So that's why it's 12 hours of daylight, 12 hours of nighttime. And we will have that coming up here soon, where it's almost completely evenly split. It's usually juxtaposed either a little bit after or a little bit before the equinoxes, which is either the autumnal or the vernal, which is spring and autumn, of course. I want to talk a little bit deeper, though, because this is actually a big deal. Now that we are officially in spring, a box is checked for when Easter starts. Okay, so a lot of people don't know this. So the average spring, by the way, is around March 20th. So we're spot on with that. But in 2026, we will see our pink moon on April 2nd. That's a Thursday. So the general rule that we have here for Easter is that once you have spring, it's the first full moon, and then you're following the Sunday that follows that. So here, let's go through it. So Easter is the first Sunday after the first full moon of spring. So since we've already checked that box, that's exactly what we're looking at. So officially, full moon April 2nd, and then April 5th will be our Easter time. In 2027, well, this is a different and a unique scenario that we officially hit spring. The full moon is a day afterwards, and then Easter is March 28th, roughly about a week afterwards. So this is the reason why Easter fluctuates so much. It's all dependent on when we hit spring, when that full moon is. So that's why sometimes you can have it as late as almost mid-April or as early as pretty much a couple of days after spring officially starts. Speaking of spring, check out these values. Our pollen counts are nowhere near historic levels, thank goodness, but it was early March that we had our worst surge. I think a lot of people remember this as, oh, here it is, we just got done with February. That's where we hit a level of 747. The way that the pollen is counted is grains per cubic meters, but ignore that, just ignore how high the numbers go. Yesterday's number, about 223. So if you're really sensitive to allergies, you can kind of see how we are up and down, up and down. We're definitely on the lower edge, but the worst historic peak that I can see over the last 20 years, because the data goes all the way back to the year 2000, so I guess the last quarter decade, 2024, we hit a peak of 5,200. So that means that is greater than about 7.5 compared to where we have our peak so far. But typically, the peak for the season is late March, heading into the first 10 days of April. So we're almost there, but one other thing, we're gonna start to see more and more of that yellow stuff going forward. So for your pollen count today, we're gonna be right around a high. Let's call it near a 10. Same thing for tomorrow as the winds really start to pick up. That will also aid it as well. The big ones I'm seeing is sycamore, birch, sweet gum, pine, oak, walnut, maple. No matter what you need to know is that we likely could hit our highest level for tree pollen heading into early next week. So maybe start the allergy medication now. Okay, let's get right over to Majestic. Majestic, you were saying earlier, just because Mecklenburg County doesn't have school, the difference it's made for you.
It's been really quiet. I mean, we definitely still have our typical rush hour traffic, but we haven't had a lot of accidents, which is always a nice way to start the day heading into a great weekend. This is I-77. This is one of my watch spots, keeping a close eye on all the lanes, making sure we don't have any hiccups there. And right now, this is Tyvola, no big problem. So that is a nice way to head out the door. One thing to let you know about, though, is a crash that's going to be south of Uptown. Starting to see some orange develop with it, meaning there will be some minimum delays. It's on Providence Road, northbound lanes, right before South Windover Road. Heading to the north, this is just east of Uptown, Parkwood Ave and Siegel Ave. And then the third one, another kind of minor ongoing problem, is right there on Starita Road, eastbound, just west of Taylor Drive, so near I-85 there. Those are three things you need to know for now. We'll have another check on traffic in just a few minutes.
A viral collectible craze is headed to Hollywood. Sony Pictures has unveiled the creative team behind a new film based on Labubu, the fanged whimsical dolls that have become a global phenomenon.
BAFTA-nominated director Paul King, best known for Paddington and Wonka, will direct and produce the film. The characters began as a picture book series before evolving into a pop culture sensation. Sony acquired the rights last year. No release date yet. The film still in the early phases of development.
My kids wanted, at least at one point, a Labubu, and I'm like, absolutely not. I'm not spending a lot of money for whatever that is.
Have they grown past the face?
I hope so. They don't talk about them as much.
Perfect. Even better.
Right?
Live pictures right now over uptown to start your Friday morning. Get ready for a really nice weekend. Keep it right here on WCNC Plus.
Well, good morning, everyone. 44 degrees is what we have right now. Oh, look at those birds flying off in the distance. All right, let's get it under control. We have 37 degrees right around Statesville, 31 right around Boone, and then you have plenty of sunshine across the border. Just a few contrails and a few upper-level clouds. We'll see more clouds to complete the day. 76 today. That is well above the normal. Yesterday we hit 66, so it's about a 10-degree upgrade. Just more clouds to end the day, lower to the mid-70s for a delightful day. So 76 today, heading into the first full day of spring, which, by the way, we are less than 3 hours until the official start of spring, y'all. 83 and then 88 degrees on Sunday. That is just legendary status. Where our Jerry Hunt Supercenter 7-day forecast shows that the 80s are sticking around Saturday through Monday. A cold front will cool us down, but really just to around the average and below, and then a warm up after that. All right, Majestic has a look at your morning commute.
Just before 8:30 on this beautiful Friday morning, look at that beautiful clear sunny skies. Those roads aren't too bad either if you're heading out anytime soon. This is I-77 out near Remount, so that's exit 8 there. Once we switch it over to my map, this is coming in from York County heading towards Mecklenburg County, where I-77 also looks fantastic. Another problem though will be south of Uptown. You can see Providence Road, there will be delays.
Thanks for joining us on WCNC Plus at 8:30. I'm Lisa Washington.
And I'm Ben Thompson. WCNC Charlotte asking where's the money this morning for local small businesses feeling the pinch at the gas pump. For them, the war overseas directly impacts their bottom line.
WCNC Charlotte's Destiny Richards is live this morning in South Charlotte to explain how landscapers are trying to keep their business and their customers afloat. Destiny.
Yeah, good morning. A lot of us rely on gas to get to work. A lot of people getting gas right now before work, but there are local businesses where gas is how they get their jobs done. And right now, these rising gas prices are hitting them pretty hard. For landscapers in particular, gas isn't optional. It's essential. From trucks to mowers to blowers, just about everything they use runs on fuel. And as prices climb, some now topping $5 a gallon, business owners say their costs are spiking fast. One local landscaper says when you factor in multiple trucks receiving fill-ups several times a week, they're spending thousands more just to keep running. Others say even driving between job sites is adding up on top of the fuel needed to power their equipment.
Our crew have to travel back and forth to go to each job, which increases the gas prices for them.
We're making less money. It's just extremely frustrating when you go to the pump every time, and it just becomes more and more expensive.
And for now, these companies say they're not passing those added costs on to customers, but they are still trying to stay afloat. So they're right now just hoping that these prices level off and stabilize soon. Live in South Charlotte, I'm Destiny Richards, WCNC Charlotte.
We are following some breaking news this morning in Uptown. CMPD says one person is recovering after being stabbed overnight. Here's what we know. It happened around 2 o'clock this morning near West 6th and North Tryon. We are working to get more information from police about what led up to this. We'll bring it to you as we get it into our newsroom.
This morning, Charlotte City Council exploring its next steps on those controversial I-77 toll lanes. The state DOT has agreed to pump the brakes on the project as they get more community feedback on some of the design options. You see one of them right here. Many neighbors pushing, though, for underground tunnels instead. We spoke to council member Malcolm Graham, who says NC DOT currently doing a study looking into that design, but it's also a lot more expensive, tens of billions of dollars. He noted that any extra costs couldn't come out of city funds.
That's really important. Obviously, cost is going to be a deciding factor in that, but I don't think there should be a local funding remedy for it. I think it should remain a state project with federal support, and so that we can use our local dollars for other local projects.
We also spoke to his colleague, Councilman Ed Driggs, who acknowledged the solutions presented so far have their flaws, but also highlighted the consequences if the project is canned.
That would be terrible, right? It's a $3.5 billion project, but the fact is right now you can't widen that road and move it somewhere else. So we're trying to do this in a modern, sensitive way and avoid any suggestion that there is an indifference towards the black community.
NC DOT isn't making any decisions until June, but you can catch both of these full interviews on Flashpoint, 9 p.m. Monday, right here on WCNC Plus.
Former North Carolina Lieutenant Governor Mark Robinson is now admitting that he lied about previously denying allegations he faced.
This all comes about a year and a half after CNN first reported that Robinson had made racist and lewd remarks on a pornographic website. Robinson, who lost the gubernatorial race to Josh Stein, previously denied allegations, sued the network for defamation. He eventually dropped that lawsuit and said he planned to quit politics. Well, during a podcast released just hours ago, Robinson admitted that there was some truth to those allegations. All right, folks, we are just now a day into the NCAA tournament, and it didn't take long for our Carolina teams to be front and center in the madness.
Starting with North Carolina, the Tar Heels squandering an 11-point lead in the last 5 minutes of regulation. The 6th-seeded Heels upset by 11th-seeded VCU in overtime.
Just because you miss a shot doesn't mean something's wrong. I mean, we had open looks, we had shots at the basket, we had executed plays, and we missed 8 free throws. Sometimes the ball doesn't go in.
near catastrophe for Duke on that same floor in Greenville, but the Blue Devils rallied against Siena, taking the lead with just a few minutes left. Cam Boozer said they weren't ready to play. Coach John Shire, though, not worried.
It's not concerning from the standpoint that, unfortunately, this is the nature of the tournament. You know, it's the nature of the tournament. And, you know, look, I wish it could just be smooth sailing and you can face a team like Siena. They're incredibly ready to play. We made some mistakes early that they made us pay for it. But the toughness down the stretch, I just think that's what this tournament's all about.
And it was electric for the High Point Panthers last night. History made in Portland, Oregon with their first NCAA tournament win. The Panthers came from behind, securing that win over Wisconsin with just 11 seconds left.
I mean, when Rob threw that up, I was just like, I gotta put this in the hoop and win this game. I wasn't really thinking whether it was a 2 or a 3. I was just trying to put it in and win this game. So.
Yeah, I mean, Chase, how he's finished the season and just his career, he passed Steph Curry today on all-time threes. That's the kind of player he is.
3 more Carolina teams will be in action today. Clemson faces Iowa in an 8-9 matchup in Tampa. 15-seed Furman faces Connecticut, trying to knock off the 2-seed in Philadelphia. And Queen's University will take on Purdue in its first ever trip to the Big Dance. Tip-off is just after 7:30 in St. Louis tonight. Now here in Charlotte, Suffolk Punch in South Park is hosting a watch party for fans to cheer on the Royals as they try to pull off the upset. Hornets legend Dale Curry's jersey is officially retired and hangs in the rafters of the Spectrum Center. Curry's number 30 jersey was retired in Uptown last night at halftime of the Hornets' big win. Curry's family, who you see there, all in attendance, including son Stephen Curry. Dale Curry's jersey is the second retired by the team, joining his late teammate and friend Bobby Phills. All right, Chris, tell us what we're looking forward to. We're, 2 hours and about 10 minutes from the start of spring.
Oh, man, who's excited? Yeah, so if you have any last-minute winter things to do, you have 2 hours roughly. Enjoy it. Or you can just wait until spring because it has already felt like spring. This is the second warmest March to this date that we have in Charlotte history, and we were number 1 for a while. We just dropped off of that because of the last couple of days. Upper-level clouds joining us this morning, but I do think that it gets cloudier a little bit later on. That's not going to take too much away from the day. But 44 is our start right now. 36 around Salisbury, 42 for you here in Monroe, up and down the the US 74 corridor. All right, Chris, come on, know your area. 34 degrees right around Morganton, and then 31. The only freezing point is up in the mountains. 76 is going to be about 10 degrees warmer than what we had just a day ago. More clouds to end the day. Overall, still spectacular. We had a little voting yesterday about what you thought the pick of the week was. This day, 1 by 1 vote. But honestly, tomorrow is going to be great temperature-wise. Temperatures in the lower 80s. Here's the deal, though. We start off cloudy, so it might not look as pretty as the way that we're starting off today or what we're starting off Sunday. And once you get to Sunday, we're talking about the upper 80s, close to 90 degrees. That's more of an indication that, hey, we're almost to July, y'all, so that's more of a June-like temperature. This is more like a May, and this is more like April, so we're definitely ahead of schedule heading into the first weekend of spring. Here's a look at what our weekend will, in general, have. Mainly just some clouds roll in later on. We'll keep the cloud cover in general around heading through the overnight. That's going to keep us nice and mild. We're starting off in the 50s tomorrow. That's going to be joyous. And then here's a look. Those clouds are still going to be out and about for your Saturday morning. And then for the afternoon, some of us, I think, see a lot more sunshine than others, but there's going to be some breaks. It just depends where you are, if you're under more of a partly sunny sky or turning actually mostly sunny. So just temper expectations on your Saturday as far as the blue sky goes from time to time. We have a little bit of a disturbance down to the southwest, so I am keeping an outside isolated shower or storm chance to end your Saturday, but doesn't look to be anything major. Check it out, though. Once we get that out of here, here's Sunday. Let it run. Just some upper level clouds. It's going to be great. So our rainfall chances, I don't have anything here. I think if anything does happen, it's more of into the evening type of deal. And our Monday chance keeps on getting lesser and lesser and lesser. And then by Wednesday, an isolated chance. So rain is not really all that helpful as we desperately need it for our drought status, which isn't doing much better for the most recent update. As far as our 7-day forecast is concerned for next week, we do see another dip, another front that starts to pass. That's late on Monday. And that's the one thing I think something that could change. You might have a little extra moisture that nudges in, so maybe it's a better thunderstorm chance. But right now, it just is looking pretty measly. That cool down isn't bad as well. Even though we cool down by 20 degrees, so it's a noticeable difference, we're back to the lower 40s and the lower 60s, even though the day before, our low on Monday is actually higher than what our high is on Tuesday, but we luckily waste no time warming back up after that. So all in all, it hasn't been too bad of a morning commute. Hopefully that has not changed for Majestic Storm.
Not too bad. It's not perfect, but it's also not terrible. We've seen worse days and we've seen better days. At least we have sunshine for that morning commute. This is I-77 heading up north. That's out by mile marker 20. Wanted to take you into that direction because we do have an accident right there between Huntersville and I-485, specifically I-77 northbound at I-485. Exit 19 to 18 is where some minimal delays are starting to develop. And then Starrida Road right here, we have an ongoing incident right there in Trailer Drive. Still seeing a lot of green with it, so not seeing any big delays. Off to the east of Uptown, this is Parkwood Ave and Siegel Ave, where we also have an accident right there at the intersection. Not seeing big delays, but here I'm seeing delays coming in all directions at Providence Road, specifically northbound being the worst of it right before South Windover Road. So those are a few important things you need to know. For now, we'll have another check on traffic coming up here soon.
Harvey Weinstein back in court as his next trial faces a possible delay. The unexpected reason behind it involving Luigi Mangione. We'll explain. .43 now. The upcoming season of hit show The Bachelorette, starring Taylor Frankie Paul, has been canceled. ABC says it decided to scrap the season after a 2023 video of Paul was made public Thursday. That video shows Paul screaming and throwing things at her former boyfriend. Her representative released a statement to Variety following that video's release, saying it, quote, conveniently omits context. Authorities in Paul's home state of Utah have confirmed she's the subject of a separate ongoing domestic violence investigation. The Bachelorette was scheduled to debut on Sunday. A South Carolina grandfather is facing attempted murder charges after he allegedly shot his grandson earlier this week. The 79-year-old was granted bond Wednesday. Police say the alleged shooting happened during an argument. As Dedrick Rush reports, his defense attorney says the situation may not be as clear-cut.
All we know is it's a he said, she said right now.
Larry Brown, the 79-year-old Big T's barbecue owner, arrested after a shooting on his property.
Richland County deputies responded to Brown's home on Goodwin Way Tuesday afternoon, where they found his grandson suffering from a gunshot wound to the hip. But in court, Brown's defense argued the situation may not be as clear-cut, raising questions about both what led up to the shooting and Brown's condition.
He was in a horrible wreck 5 years ago, which I represented him on. As you could see, he's confined to a wheelchair or a cane. We sense that there may be some mental capacity issues, and he needs to be evaluated before we can even talk about any sort of defense.
Defense attorney Dick Harpootlian sharing more details leading up to the shooting in court, saying Brown's son owns a dog that was on the property and claims that the dog became aggressive toward Brown. He argued Brown was trying to shoot the dog, but instead hit his grandson. Harpootlian also noting that Brown was allowing his grandson to live on the property, giving him both a place to stay and a job as part of his grandson's release from prison in another state.
He would not have been, the victim would not have been on the property if his grandfather, Mr. Brown, had not given him a place to stay and a job. So, you can read that any way you want.
With an evaluation set and a follow-up court date scheduled, the defense says they plan to stick to the facts.
Based on what we've heard, it seems to be questionable, but look, whether they made the right one or not, it's something for a judge and a jury to decide.
That was Derek Rush with that report. Former film producer Harvey Weinstein spent part of his 74th birthday in a Manhattan courtroom. A judge is considering delaying his third rape trial because his new legal team also represents Luigi Mangione, the man accused of killing the CEO of United Healthcare. The judge also ruled that an expert on trauma will be allowed to testify. Weinstein has been in jail since 2020 and faces more prison time if convicted. Federal prosecutors have charged a Supermicro co-founder with diverting $2.5 billion worth of servers containing NVIDIA AI chips to China. Investigators say U.S. export laws were violated by sending restricted technology to China without a license. Supermicro is not named in the indictment and says it is fully cooperating. The company has placed the co-founder on administrative leave. The U.S. Department of Justice is cracking down on websites linked to Iran that were allegedly spreading terrorist propaganda. Officials say Iran's intelligence agency used the sites to share stolen information and call for violence against journalists and others. Attorney General Pam Bondi then warned that this kind of messaging can lead to real-world attacks. The action comes days after incidents at Old Dominion University in Virginia and Temple Israel in Michigan that are now being investigated as terrorism. All right, 8:48 now, a live look over uptown. When we come back, Chris has a final check of your WCNC weather impact forecast.
Hi, this is Larry Sprinkle. It's Friday. What to do this weekend? There's a lot going on. One of those happens at Metropolitan Midtown, something for the whole family. It's called Hop to Midtown, right there near Uptown Charlotte. Hop to Midtown's 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Saturday. It is free for everyone. It's in Midtown Row, right there near Dressler's. By the way, a lot of free parking in the deck. Hop to Midtown features free pictures with the Easter Bunny, free treats, face painting. There's a live DJ and a lot more. Don't miss it. Hop to Midtown Saturday, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. That's what's happening this weekend. I'm Larry Sprinkle.
Okay, you know I'm your stat man, ski ba 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 dum bum. So what you have on your screen is the top 10 hottest highs that we've ever had during the month of March. Now, this is any given day in March. So of course, 31 days across over 140 years of record keeping, dating back to 1849. If you look closely, the 1 spot, the 4 spot, the 5 spot, and the 6 spot all belong to 1907. That had a historic surge at the end of the month. But I've also highlighted 2 other spots. Here in 2026, that high of 87 that we had back-to-back on March 10th and March 11th, officially the 8th, technically tied for the 8th and 9th, hottest on record. And the reason why this is significant is that officially, look closely, that 89 that we had in 1907, excuse me, sorry, get my words out. Well, that is actually going to be our record for this coming Sunday. So this Sunday is going to be very close to a record. If we hit 89, of course, we just move a little bit further up the list. But as you can see, 1907, 89, that was the record that we hit on March 22nd, one of the hottest of all time. What's also interesting is our 90-degree days. Now, I'm not saying that we're going to hit 90 this coming weekend, but say if we did, it would be one of the earliest on record. So the earliest 90-degree high that we've ever had is March 17th. And honestly, close enough. 1907 is the second, and then it was officially number 3 spot was March 25th. So this would be the second earliest if, say, this exceeds expectations, and we do indeed do that on March 22nd. I don't think we're going to. I'm just kind of giving you that case and scenario. But this is the top. It feels a lot more like June than it's going to feel more like March. We'll be back to March status, which should be about the mid to the upper 60s by next Wednesday after we have a big significant drop. But for this weekend, the lower to the mid to the upper 80s across the area. Low 80s still on Monday. Could have some falling temperatures behind a cold front. But these drops that we see, yes, we will have a day back in the 50s. They're still not too bad because we don't waste a lot of time getting back to the 70s. We actually have more 70s and 80s over the next 10 days. As far as our lows are concerned, not really too big of a deal. So this Sunday is going to be a historic day, one of the hottest highs ever to happen during the month of March here in the Charlotte area. All right, Majestic, one last look at our morning commute here on WCNC.
Here we go. We're heading into our Friday and traffic is flowing all right. This is how beautiful it looks like outside, though. I-85, if you're just waking up this morning, maybe you got to sleep in a little bit. This is mile marker 29 out near Sam Wilson. It's going to be a beautiful day from start to finish, and traffic delays haven't been all that bad for us. This is something new, though. I-77 northbound, right at I-485. We have an accident that's ongoing there, specifically between exit 18 to 19. And then just right here, this is east of I-77, Starrida Road eastbound. That's going to be just west of Trailer Drive. This accident still not cleared either. And then Parkwood Ave at Siegel Ave, that is our 3rd accident for you to know before you go. Take it easy for your Friday morning commute, and we'll have a final check on traffic coming up in a couple of minutes.
Majestic, thanks. We're time for us to take a quick break here on WCNC Plus, but make sure that you keep streaming live. Coming up at the top of the hour, Jane Mariola is going to take over from our Live Impact studio. She's going to have Grammy Award-winning singer Alessia Cara. That's next, streaming live here on WCNC Plus.
Good morning. Who's ready for greatness? One of the greatest weekends that we've had so far this year. I might even say the greatest weekend. Temperatures in the mid-70s, feeling super comfortable. We're going to warm up to about May and June-like status by tomorrow. Today, plenty of sunshine like you can see here, but we increase the clouds as we work our way through the day. Our Jerry Hunt Supercenter 7-day forecast shows the lower 80s for your Saturday. I think we start off cloudier, and it's kind of a reverse of today, picking up more sunshine as we progress through the afternoon. But Sunday, sunny, mostly sunny skies, both days starting in the mid-50s. 88 degrees would be just 1 degree shy of the record and one of the hottest days in March history here in Charlotte. 82, slight chance for rain to end the day on Monday. A 20-degree drop on Tuesday, but a quick recovery. After that, another look at our morning commute. Majestic, take it away.
It's beautiful outside. Grab those sunglasses as you're heading out the door. It's going to be a beautiful first day of spring. Nice dry area roadways. Feeling comfortable outside this morning, but warming up fast. Mallard Creek off of I-85 continues to look fine. No big delays there. Still a few ongoing wrecks. This one here is on I-77 at I-485. Northbound lanes being impacted there. So mainly between exits 18 and 19. Just to the south at Star Rider Road, there is a crash there at Trailer Drive. Have a good weekend.